Welcome back everyone, I'm Nick and this is Swiftful Thinking, where we cover all things Swift and SwiftUI related, and in this video we're going to look at the SwiftUI modifier called MatchedGeometryEffect. This modifier is probably one of the lesser known modifiers, and I think that's because it's relatively hard to use if you've never implemented it before. But once you get the hang of it, it is super powerful and useful in your apps. So basically the MatchedGeometryEffect allows us to animate geometric shapes on the screen, and specifically it allows us to morph one shape into another shape. So how we do it is actually create two different shapes on the screen, and then we tell the system that these two shapes are the same shape. So that if I have one shape on the screen and then that one gets removed and the other one gets added, during that process, the system will know that they're the same shape and it will animate into that second shape. And I realize it could be a little confusing without actually seeing it. So better than me talking is me coding. So let's jump into Xcode and just build an example MatchedGeometryEffect.
All right, welcome back everyone. So I'm back in our Xcode project, of course. And let's create a new file for the code we're going to do in this video. So let's right click the navigator, create a new file. It's going to be a SwiftUI view, of course, and let's call this MatchedGeometryEffect Bootcamp. Go ahead and click create. Once you're inside, let's click resume on the canvas, make sure we are all connected. And in this video, of course, we're looking at the MatchedGeometryEffect. So that's actually a modifier. So if we type in .MatchedGeometryEffect, we can see that modifier. And we're only going to be focusing on the one with the ID and a namespace in this video. But before we do that, let's do a little bit of setup on this screen here. Let's create a very simple VStack. And at the top of the VStack, I'm going to put a rounded rectangle. Let's give it a corner radius of 25. Let's give it a frame with a width of maybe, we could do 100 by 100, and alignment we don't really need. And then let's add a spacer below it just to push it all the way to the top. And on here, let's add a very simple @state private var. Let's say isClicked of type bool, and we'll set it equal to false. So when we click the screen, we just want to toggle isClicked from true to false to true to false and so on. So on the VStack, let's add a .frame with a max width of infinity and a max height of infinity. And just to see where that is, let's give it a background of color.red for a second. So we should be able to see that the VStack is now taking up the entire screen, or close enough to the entire screen. And on here, we're going to add a .tap gesture. And with animation, we'll do .ease in out and open the brackets. And of course, what we're gonna do is isClicked.toggle. So when we tap anywhere on this red, we should toggle isClicked. Now what we wanna do is actually animate this rectangle down to the bottom of the screen. So you might wonder how we're going to do that. And a beginner developer might say, oh, we can very simply change the offset of the rectangle. So we could do something like this, .offset, and we can do the Y. And we could set it maybe equal to UI screen, .main.bounds, .height, maybe times 0.7 or something like that to get it down here, 7.5. And we can make this an animation, so we can say, if it is clicked, question mark, let's animate that much, otherwise 0. And I can put this on multiple lines here. So if it is clicked, the offset is this much, otherwise it is 0. So if I play and click, we should get this pretty cool animation. So our animation is working, but obviously it's not exact. And we really want this to be lined up exactly at the bottom here. And we could go out of our way to try to figure out exactly how much we need to offset it, or we could change the position, or we could try to maybe remove the spacer. But there's a better way to do this in SwiftUI, and it's called MatchedGeometryEffect. What we're going to do underneath this spacer is actually add the same rectangle. So I'm going to delete this offset here. I'm going to copy this rounded rectangle, and I'm going to paste it down at the bottom. All right, so now we actually have two rectangles. So what we're gonna do is basically tell the system that this rectangle up here and this rectangle down here are the exact same rectangle. And only one of them will ever be on the screen at the same time. So we're doing that so that when the system starts drawing on the second rectangle, it'll recognize that this is the same as this first one and it will animate towards that new position. So what we're gonna do is only draw these rectangles depending on is clicked. So here we'll say if not is clicked, open the brackets. I use the not with the exclamation mark there. So if it's not clicked, let's put that rectangle. And if is clicked, let's open up this and let's put this rectangle. And that's step one, and it's kind of working. And we can see now that this rectangle disappears and then the one on the top appears. But obviously this is not animating to the next position, it's just animating onto the screen. So the last thing we need to do here is actually add a .MatchedGeometryEffect. And in order to have a MatchedGeometryEffect, you need to create a namespace. So we do that very simply by typing @namespace. We can make it a private var, let's call it namespace. And we actually don't have to give it a type because it is a namespace. The system knows exactly what this is. So all we need to do is pass this namespace into our MatchedGeometryEffect. And then we need to give this rectangle a specific ID. So let's just call it rectangle. And this ID is important because this is how the system knows that this rectangle is the same as this one. Because we're going to copy this and also add it down here so that this rectangle has the same MatchedGeometryEffect ID. And we use this ID to differentiate from the different objects in the namespace. Because we can use this namespace just for this rectangle or for a whole bunch of objects. We could do other rectangles inside. And the only important thing to note is that we need to make sure that the IDs are the same. So if I click resume and run this now, the system's going to recognize that when we draw this rectangle on and off the screen and this rectangle on and off the screen, it's going to recognize through these IDs and the namespace that it's the same rectangle. And because of that, it's going to animate it. So now we have this perfect MatchedGeometryEffect, as you can see here. All right, so this is working perfectly, but the MatchedGeometryEffect is actually much more powerful than just this. So for example, if we wanted to change the size of the rectangle, maybe the bottom rectangle should be bigger, we could actually do that. So let's make the bottom rectangle maybe 300 by 200. And when we run it, we should see that it gets a little bit bigger. And one thing I just noticed as we're doing this, it looks like it's like coming into the side of the screen here. And when you get little glitches like that, that's probably the system kind of telling you that something is not set up correctly. So as I look at our code, and thankfully we don't have much code here, I realize that the MatchedGeometryEffect probably should be before we set the frame on the rectangle. So let's cut this and paste it before the frame, and let's do that down here as well. And I think that will solve our problems. And now we get this really beautiful MatchedGeometryEffect here. And you can see the small rectangle animating perfectly into this larger rectangle exactly where we wanted it. So this is a great example of how these MatchedGeometryEffects work. And I do want to point out that you can put this modifier on a lot of different components, but it definitely works best on geometry components. So I would try to keep this to shapes. So rectangles, circles, squares, capsules, things like that. We can do one more here. Let's do a circle, and maybe we'll make this one a circle as well. We can animate circles, big and small. I think a lot of the tutorials on this subject kind of just make shapes and move them around the screen. But what really matters in my mind is how we're going to use this in an actual app, in an actual production app. So let's actually start making another screen here. So I'm going to do that down at the bottom. Let's create a totally new screen. I'm going to create a struct. I'm going to call this MatchedGeometryEffect example 2. This will be of type view, and let's open the brackets. Every view, of course, needs a body. Let's open the brackets. And in this view, we're going to pretend like we have filters on our app. So let's create some categories that we might filter. So let's say let categories of type array of string, and let's set it equal to an array here. And just for example's sake, let's put maybe home, popular, and maybe saved for whatever they have in this app. Maybe these are the 3 filters or tabs that they can click on here. And let's create very simply a H stack. Open the brackets. Let's do a for each. Open the parentheses. Let's go down to the one with the ID completion here, because an array of strings is hashable. That's why we can use the ID completion. So let's add in categories. This will be \self, and the content, let's press enter. This will be for category. And let's just put in text with the category for now. Let's put this MatchedGeometryEffect example 2 into the preview here. So let's paste it up here. And we have our 3 categories, nothing fancy so far. All right, let's hold the command button, click on this text, and embed it in a Z stack. I'm gonna make the frame of this Z stack. Let's give it a frame with a max width of infinity. Let's also give it a dot frame with a height of maybe 55. And what I'm going to do is behind this text, I'm going to add a rounded rectangle. So let's add a rounded rectangle here. Let's give a corner radius of maybe 10. And let's give it a dot fill with maybe color dot red. Let's do maybe opacity of 0.3. Maybe 0.5. It's a little too dark. All right. All right, on the entire H stack, let's add some padding just to push it in from the edges. And what we're going to want to do is basically select one of these filters. And when it's selected, we want this red background to appear. When it's not selected, we don't want it to have a red background. So first step is when we click on this section here, we want to make sure that home is selected. So at the top here, let's put it at state private var selected of type string, and let's just set it equal to a blank string for now. Maybe nothing is selected at the start. And when we on tap gesture, when we tap on one of these with animation, let's do .spring. Let's open the brackets, and when we tap on one of these categories, we want to set the selected category equal to category. All right, so when we are tapping one of these, we are now selecting them. And I only want this rectangle to show if it is selected. So we'll do if selected is equal to category, open the brackets, and we'll put this rectangle on the screen. Let's click resume here. Let's test it out. So nothing should be selected at first because we have a blank string. When I click on home, it should be selected. And now when I click through these, we should get the rectangle only on the selected one. So this is the first step, and this is looking kind of good, but obviously we're not using MatchedGeometryEffect yet. So what we're going to do is add .MatchedGeometryEffect. And again, we need a namespace, so I'll do @namespace, private var, let's call this namespace 2. I think we could just call it namespace as well, but I don't want the system to get confused with the last one that we made. So we'll just call this namespace 2, and let's call this category background. And I do want to point out here that we only need to put in MatchedGeometryEffect one time, because these rounded rectangles are only going to be drawn on and off the screen when that category is selected. So whenever that category is selected, as long as we have a MatchedGeometryEffect with the correct ID, it will animate. Let's click resume one more time. Now we have home, and it should animate perfectly as we click through these. And I think it glitches a little bit when I click backwards to home, but I think that's just because we're in a canvas here. If I build and run this to a simulator, which I'll do right now, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to our app.swift file and paste this into as the first file in our app. If we build and run this to an actual simulator, I think we should see that it now animates very, very nicely. So this is a great example of how you could use this in your apps. And we could even customize this a little bit more. Maybe we want to give the rectangle, maybe we give it a frame with a width of 35, a height of 2. and we'll keep the alignment as it is. We don't need the alignment. Let's make the V stack maybe alignment of dot bottom, and then let's give the frame, and then let's give the rectangle maybe an offset, very simple offset. Let's do the Y of maybe 10. So if I build this now, we should have a little underline underneath the home, and then we can animate that underline. And if you build it on a simulator, it won't have any of that lag. But you can see how this could be a really cool effect in your app. Maybe on this text here, if it is selected, we make it a red text. So we could do dot foreground color, and if selected is equal to the category question mark, let's do dot red, otherwise dot black. And let's just make the fill exactly red with no opacity as well. So this should give us a pretty cool example here, where we have, when we select it, it's red, we have a red underline, and now we can animate. The text is red and the red underline. So pretty cool real world example how we could use a match geometry effect. Alright guys, that's it for this video. This was just a quick introduction to match geometry effect. Again, it does work best on geometry shapes. You can, I think, do it on texts and some other components, but it does not always work exactly as you would expect. I hope maybe Apple releases a matched text effect soon or something like that. But for now, I would say try to just keep your match geometry effect to geometry shapes. That's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe, and do not forget to leave a comment. I love when you guys leave comments. So thank you for watching. As always, I'm Nick. This is Swiftful Thinking, and I'll see you in the next video.